This is your weekly celestial forecast for the week beginning July 3rd, 2023. So on Monday the 3rd, we've got the moon in Capricorn. What is Capricorn? It's about the 10th house, our ambition. And Capricorn is a very serious and conservative sign. It is about structure, and it is about karma, responsibility. So on Monday, July 3rd, the moon is applying as of the 4th of July on the holiday, a conjunction with powerhouse Pluto. So although there is not a conjunction on Monday the 3rd, the atmosphere is starting to feel a little heavy for this holiday long weekend. Some of us, believe it or not, for the holidays will be focused on, yes, duty, responsibility, and work. At the very least, this is a sign that something more serious is in the air, and it may include the powers that be, government, anything to do with structure, how structure operates or structure within society, or it could be literally physical structures that there is a bit of an issue. So do expect for Monday, the atmosphere is a little bit overcast, we shall say. However, the moon in Capricorn is also a full moon because it opposes the sun. And the sun, although not set at this time in particular for noon on Monday, is at 14 degrees of Cancer, opposing 14 degrees of Capricorn. So with the full moon, and generally with the full moon cycle, the lunatation will take greater effect between the full moon and the next new moon. So between this period of time, these issues will become prominent. The Capricorn and the Cancer axis. So it's our sense of security and well-being, our need to protect ourselves as well as others, that will become very prominent now. And do refer for further information to my full moon in Capricorn video. So we are starting to feel just before or just after the full moon in Capricorn the effects of this full moon. For example, we may feel that we want to be more nurturing and protective towards our family, and we may take efforts to do so. We may be focused on the cross, the opposition between duty, work, and responsibility, and family needs, and to create that balance within this opposition of this full moon. On a more broader scale, this may indicate security or insecurities regarding the powers that be, the government, and structure within society, as mentioned, or physical structures. There could be a breakdown. But this will likely occur between the full moon and the next new moon in Leo. Now, let's look at some things that are a little bit more positive. We have Neptune in Pisces, also retrograde, making a beautiful sextile to powerhouse Pluto. Now, granted, they're both retrograde and outer planets, but they do create an effect. And there is a sextile here between Earth and water. So between powerhouse Pluto and Neptune, this is very good for our imagination, for our insights, and for our creativity. With Neptune and Pluto, with this Earth water connection, it gives us a little bit of grounding and some insight, but not getting too carried away with fantasy and daydreams. In so many words, we are taking practical applications to our ambitions and our sense of power. And of course, with the sun in Cancer with Mercury, this is wonderful, this conjunction, although rather commonplace. It's in the sign of Cancer, so our intuition is heightened now. And especially on the 3rd, Monday, Saturn, even retrograde, is making a very wide trine to both the Sun and Mercury in Cancer. So this is a very kind of a gentle, delicate influence. But anytime you have a retrograde planet that somewhat creates or brings out the negative aspect of that planet. So right now with Saturn retrograde and also the depositor of the moon, we may be feeling a little bit pessimistic now. So with this wide trine to the Sun and Mercury, this helps to ground our thoughts of negativity and pessimism and transmute it into a more positive outlook, but creating a sense of sensitivity and kindness, compassion towards those closest to us. And especially because Saturn is retrograde. So that kind of gives us even more additional responsibility towards what? That is connected with the 12th house. And Saturn is a planet that is very responsible and connected with duty. But when you have now Saturn retrograde, Saturn becomes much more dutiful, much more responsible, and to some degree, the outlook with Saturn is a bit more grim. So this is the time we may develop additional compassion for those in need of our sensitivity and our kindness now. And with this trine with the Sun and Mercury, that's especially helpful and is very connected with those that are suffering and anything to do with medical, psychological, you name it. And this may be a topic of discussion. Mental health, psychological, physical health, anything to do with medicine or institutions, hospitals, and the like that deal with these issues now. And especially as later on into July, we have the Sun and Mercury that will apply a trine to Neptune. So yes, the issues of medicine, health, and so on will become much greater topics as we move forward into July. And we've got the the sextile between Jupiter in Taurus, grounded Taurus, and Saturn retrograde as well. So this is an additional sextile Earth and water connection with Saturn. Very positive connection, and also very grounded. And this is a time during July that our ambitions are going to be to the fore. A lot of connections with regards to finance, money, and building our future, because you've got Earth and water here and Jupiter in Taurus, and that's very productive and connected with money and our values. And of course, we still have Venus and Mars conjunct now in Leo. However, we must be careful during this time because there is the square off with unexpected, unusual Uranus. Yes, indeed. So do be careful of very random and unpredictable uh, disagreements or conflicts now, especially in the area of love and romance, because with Venus and Mars, that's a very physical connection, because Venus represents love and affection, the idea of romance and love, and Mars is about intimacy and it's very aggressive. And when you have Venus and Mars in the same sign conjunct, then it somewhat acts as one unit and it's squaring off with Uranus. So this could create some unpredictable flare-ups, but take a hint from the Sun and Mercury and making a wide trine to Saturn, the Jupiter and Saturn sextile, and really develop heightened senses of compassion and sympathy, and that will somewhat quelch some of these flare-ups romantically now. Now let's look ahead to the next day, which is the 4th of July. Yes, indeed. We're going to go forward a day, and it is now the 4th of July. Happy 4th of July. And certainly, yes, on Tuesday, there will be fireworks in more ways than one. And we have the moon conjunct Pluto retrograde now. And remember, anytime there is a retrograde planet, it generally toughens up that planet, makes the sense of that planet and whatever it represents a little bit more focused and a little bit more determined, and to some degree can accentuate or exaggerate some of the negative qualities. So we've got the moon, and that rules our emotions in Capricorn, and that is conjoining powerhouse Pluto, yes, retrograde, right on the 4th. So there's going to be possible criticisms or concerns, or those that will voice their opinions about structure, the powers that be, government, and so on. There could be some kind of breakdown on the 4th regarding these matters. And keep in mind, we're talking Capricorn here. So even on the 4th of July, there's going to be certainly those that are still focused on hard work and their ambition. Just don't overdo it on this holiday. But nonetheless, this is a rather intense connection meetup, and especially made more intense because we're talking Pluto retrograde. So be prepared for some emotional and possible public fireworks on the 4th. A lot of opinions going around on that day, or there certainly could be a breakdown of structure, especially connected with physical structure and the public, the masses, because we are talking the moon here, and that rules the masses in general. Yes, and now we're going to look forward to the next day. And one last thing here, however, do take a hint from this wide trine with Uranus. So that kind of tempers our reactions a bit, gives us more of a sense of trying to channel our energies into that which is more creative, or we are going to discuss creative solutions to our problems. So that's very positive. So let's look the next day to Wednesday, and we're in the middle of the week now, and it is the 5th of July, and the moon now is in Aquarius. So this is going to be somewhat like the day before on the 4th, a bit of an unpredictable day. Kind of, we're feeling the effects of whatever is happening on the 4th. And with the moon in Aquarius, this can be rather patriotic, especially for the US, because our moon is in Aquarius as well, and its depositor is Uranus. So that leads me to believe, starting on the 4th of July on Tuesday and leading into Wednesday and possibly Thursday with the moon additionally in Aquarius, there could be, yes, some kind of upheavals or very strong opinions, especially connected with the collective, because we are talking the moon. A lot of strong opinions, and what better a discussion around the holiday about our freedoms. And this is very prominent with the sign of Aquarius. It's very fixed and very unpredictable. But yes, it's going to be much in the way of our liberation, our freedoms, and, well, what else does Aquarius rule but technology, AI, space, the future? So much in the way of possible conflicts, heated discussions because of the applying square off and depositor of Uranus here, about the future, freedoms, technology, AI, and everything Aquarius is connected with. Groups, associations, friendliness, friends, you name it. So do try to calm things down a little bit on Wednesday if the discussions become a little bit much on that particular day. And we have an applying opposition to both Venus and Mars coming up. And there is a square off with Jupiter, lucky Jupiter. And what does it mean? Anytime you've got that square between the moon in Aquarius and prosperous lucky Jupiter, but it's about spending. So on one hand, we may get really good financial news around Wednesday, but additionally, we will have to definitely watch out for spending or going overboard, about exaggeration, and there then lies the rub. That may be a difficult. So sometimes exaggeration can be difficult to control, and this may create some issues now. So do temper what you have to say on Wednesday, and don't try to go overboard with your insights. But it's also a time to watch your wallet and keep an eye on your spending as well. Now, We additionally have with that moon in Aquarius and applying the square off to Uranus on Thursday, well, that can also create issues with some natural disasters, volcanoes, earthquakes, and the like. So let's look ahead to the next day, which is Thursday. Yes, indeed. And we have the moon in late Aquarius and making a wide square off with Uranus. So, yes, Wednesday, Thursday, yes, we will have to keep an eye out for some of these big natural disasters occurring, but also because it is days after the meetup between Pluto and the moon and the full moon at that, and then Uranus in Aquarius and the square off with Uranus and the depositor. So this is all about a lot of very strong insights with the collective and even in our lives personally. We have this sense of wanting to feel liberated, to do what we want to do, to say what we feel is our personal truth. And therein may cause some issues. And especially now, we have a T square between the moon in Aquarius and the depositor Uranus and Venus Mars in Leo. And wow, especially around and on the holiday, talk about fireworks. But again, here we will have to be cautious of feelings of intensity, jealousy, and possessiveness because come Wednesday night, Thursday, with this applying T square in the fixed signs and involving Uranus with the moon, well, things could get out of hand. It's on the positive side, rather creative, very unique and original where our creativity and our insights are concerned. But on the other hand, because it does involve Venus and Mars, that very sexy combination, we will have to be cautious again of matters of passion and intensity. So whatever occurs Wednesday or Thursday, we're going to feel awfully strong about our personal feelings. So this can also be very sensitive indeed. So mark Thursday on your calendar, and if you can, just take a light touch in all communications and kind of pull back on a little bit of that intensity and a little bit of aggression because we are involving Mars here with uh, the Venus in Leo as well. So this can be rather assertive, aggressive, and combative, and especially with the unexpected Uranus and because it is the depositor with the moon. So yes, if you can on Thursday, just take more time, yes, even on a Thursday, for some downtime and make sure that you quelch any kind of flare ups from getting out of hand. Yes, indeed. So we're going to flip forward to the following day, which is officially the weekend. And oh, look at that. We've got the moon now in Pisces and just past the conjunction to Saturn in Pisces. So on Friday, it's kind of a little bit of a different atmosphere. We go from the very powerful, serious Capricorn full moon into the unpredictable, conflicting Aquarius moon to now the moon in Pisces. And what is Pisces is about? It's about reflection. And most importantly, Pisces is about healing. So I am led to believe with this moon in Pisces, especially connected with the responsible Saturn retrograde in Pisces, that we are going to do some reflecting and will have a need for some kind of deep emotional healing from whatever occurs days early over the weekend. It is a time to now take some downtime and really think about what has meaning to us, because the 12th house is a very spiritual house. It is a time when we are going to seek answers that could be in anything connected with the psychical and meditation, spiritual. Friday indeed is very reflective. And yes, to add to all this goodness on Friday, we've got the moon making a sweet trine to the sensitive, tender sign of Cancer. So this is very good for what? For home, family, kind of revives, as I was saying earlier in that week, the week connected with charity, anything with charity and our compassion. Yes, this is a time on the weekend. Not only are we going to heal or try to heal from days earlier, but it is a wonderful time where we will want to assist and aid those closest to us or people in need. It's a very nurturing influence. And also, anytime you've got this trine with the sun and Cancer, what is this also good for? Well, Cancer is connected with the fourth house. So, yes, it's about nurturing home and family, good, warm relations, but it's also good for what? Our physical home. You may be focused on repairs or renovations this weekend, especially with the connection with Mercury. It's all about really about also what? Negotiations, serious discussions about the state of your emotions, the state of what? Your home, family, and how can you be of assistance to those around you? And who knows, you may be the one that is in need of assistance or help. But nonetheless, this is a very warm hearted, very kind, gentle influence with this Cancer Pisces connection. Yes, indeed, a very opposite connection over the weekend than earlier in the week, for sure. Things will just calm down quite a bit, and we still have Venus and Mars in Leo squaring off Uranus. However, still overlook the need to, well, disagree. So if you can kind of keep an eye out for some of those flare-ups and just take a hint from this Pisces Cancer connection, well, that is very positive indeed. And with Jupiter in Taurus, that kind of helps us to keep our sensibilities about ourselves as well. So let's look ahead to the next day, which is Saturday. Yes, July the 8th. And the moon now is conjunct Neptune. Oh, that's a very dreamy connection. And like Saturn, Neptune is also retrograde. So, with that connection with the moon, it's very compassionate, but we are feeling a little lackadaisical. Maybe our ambition and our desire to work is not at our best on Friday and especially Saturday. But this is too good, because with all the ups and downs and the roller coaster ride of this week, well, we may need Friday and Saturday to help us heal, to help us reflect and connect. That's one beauty of the sign in Pisces, especially with the moon and Neptune. However, there is a little bit of a questionable side with this moon conjunct Neptune, especially retrograde. And again, keep in mind when a planet is retrograde, it can bring out some of the issues with that planet involved. And what is Neptune? Neptune is about water, and it is a sign of Pisces. So over this weekend, and especially on or around Friday or Saturday, there could be issues with what? Storms, moisture, and with retrograde Neptune, that could be the overabundance of issues with storms, the environment, water, minerals, and so on, or the underabundance of water, the lack of water and moisture. Storms may be an issue, or literally the ocean, or during this time with Neptune retrograde, there's going to be issues for sure with water, either the lack, overabundance, storms, you name it. But this, especially over the weekend, will be a focus or a concern now. It could even deal with issues regarding cleanup of our atmosphere, our ocean. Certainly the talk of the town right now with Neptune with the moon. So very sensitive connection between Neptune and the moon connected with water. However, on a more positive note, we've got Neptune with the moon. So do keep in mind this is a great time for spiritual issues, the metaphysical, and just really trying to heal mentally, physically, emotionally right now. And this connection with the moon also, as with Neptune, makes a beautiful earth and water connection with Uranus. So this is a great time. Oh my, especially with the moon in Pisces making a beautiful sextile with Uranus. So that's very creative. If this is the time you want to focus on your creativity, your business, projects, whatever, really putting your best foot forward in a very unique and very impressionable style, because we're talking Pisces here with Uranus, which is very unique. This weekend is just the time for that. Now, there is also, well, somewhat of a very minor but can be rather annoying connection here between the moon and Neptune and Venus and Mars, and that is called a quincunx or an inconjunct. And although it's considered a rather minor aspect, it can be a little bit annoying. And again, we're talking Pisces by Leo, and Leo with Venus, Mars loves the affection, loves the warmth, and loves the attention. So there may be a cross and a little bit of annoyance now this weekend between the need to gain attention and very creative indeed for our individuality, especially with this sextile between the moon and Neptune and Uranus, and also still as of yet Venus, Mars. And with the inconjunct, it's going to be the need for attention and the need to really kind of relate to each other, because the moon is about our emotions and Neptune is also a water sign, And with Neptune conjunct the moon, with our emotions, our sensitivities, and Venus with Mars, and that's about our warmth and our affection, well, there could be a little bit of an annoying issue in the love department on Saturday or late Friday or Saturday. So you just want to look out for that. And if we are not getting a little bit of the attention that we want this weekend or the applause for our very unique sense of creativity, then this is the time to focus on ourselves and just heal. Okay, so finally we're coming into the final day of the week, which is Sunday. Yes, indeed, July 9th, and the moon is now in zesty Aries. So we are getting ready for the next week, starting on the 10th. The moon is ready to go, and its depositor is Mars. And that is real sweet, because if there was some questions on Saturday in the love department, well, on Sunday, this is a very zesty connection, because Venus is with Mars, and with Mars and Aries, it's all about what? It's about new beginnings. Possibly there could be a new love or romance in the air, or perhaps we want to start over, or we're going to have discussions about kind of starting new with love, relationships, or anything that has to do with what? Our creativity. This is a wonderful connection, especially with Venus and Mars connected with the fifth house, with children, with love, with romance, joy, really expressing ourselves, especially because there is an applying trine on Monday between Mars and Venus and the moon in zesty Aries. So starting Sunday, we are ready to work. We are ready to show off a little bit. And really, this is a very positive connection between the moon and Venus Mars in Leo. And we do, however, have the sun in Cancer, and the moon is plying that square off. So the sun is what? It's about our confidence. It's about our self-esteem and our image, and how we project our certain personal style, if you will. And with the square off with the moon, well, that's connected with our emotions. So although we're feeling rather zesty and creative on this Sunday, well, with the sun there in Cancer with the moon, we could feel a little bit low ebb on our self-confidence or our self-esteem. So this is a good time to really focus on the positive here with this moon applying trine with the moon and Venus and Mars. So if you feel a little bit listless on Sunday, or you're feeling a little bit low on the desire to work, or really put your best foot forward as far as your image, well, focus here on the sense of just feeling good and connecting with each other in a very warm type of style, and kind of do some behind the scenes work on creative projects, because this will be at its best. And by the way, with the moon in Aries there, even if we're feeling a little low with our self-esteem on Sunday, with the moon in Aries, this is still a shot in the arm of positivity about the future. Yes, indeed. So, until the next celestial weekly forecast, many, many blessings. If you'd like to get in touch with me, my contact information is down below. I give one-on-one readings and written reports. Please subscribe to this channel and press the bell notification. Until next time, many, many blessings.